Okay, so I'm here with Parker Whitfill, champion of TOC 2017. It's nice to be sitting down and talking with you. We just got done with 3 weeks at PDI teaching together, so let's just jump right into it. So obviously, I'm gonna ask you about your practice and strategy and drills. But just as a question right off the get go, what did it feel like? When you were there, you were waiting for the decision, and then they're like, it's a 2-1 for Phoenix Country Day, PW. Like, what was going through your head at that point?
I mean, it was a pretty crazy experience. I'll take you through the whole thing. So immediately after the round ended, it almost didn't seem real. Like I felt very floaty afterwards, and very tired and kind of just not in it debate wise. And then as things kind of got closer, at one point I just started feeling like that feeling kind of went away, and it kind of replaced with nerves. That I was like, man, I really hope this decision goes my way. So then we went back into the room to hear the decision, and I mean, really at the basic level, when they announced it, I was like, yay!
Right.
I was just really happy, and not only was I really happy for myself, I remember my favorite part about it was that my coach Paris Kumar, he'd been wanting a TOC championship for so long, and I could tell immediately after that he was so relieved and so happy, and that was honestly the best part of that.
Nice, awesome. So getting more to the kind of prep aspect, in the weeks, months, days for TOC, what were you doing? Were you writing cases a lot or different, all that kind of stuff? Were you just drilling, practice debates?
So obviously debate drills loves its drills. So we were doing a lot of drills. In fact, almost maybe a week after Harvard ended, we started prepped for, or at least I started prepped for TOC, and that had both drills and case writing, but probably if you had to percentage wise, I'd say 70% drills, maybe higher than that, 30% prep. So as soon as March started, until the day before the TOC, Paris essentially told me to just, even when we weren't drilling one-on-one with him and me, I would just start drilling on my own. So essentially what that meant is I would look up videos on YouTube, figure out what I thought the hardest speech was in the round, and then try to give that speech myself. And I would record it, and then I would listen to it afterwards. And that's something I did every single day.
How long did that take each day?
It wasn't too long. I mean, maybe an hour.
Okay.
To do that part. And I liked watching videos online.
Right.
I thought that was kind of interesting, so I didn't really consider that even the work part. But it was the doing the stuff after that. Maybe in combined took about an hour.
Gotcha.
And then ton of practice debates against a far diversity of styles. So there was a lot of people on debate drills that I obviously would drill against, like John, Matthew, and Catherine Fennell. And that gave me a wide variety of debate practice, but we also, as things got closer to TOC, maybe halfway through March, starting in April, we started, or at least Paris went and contacted a bunch of people who we thought were really good, and we just set up practice debates with them and just had them over Skype. So
nice. Okay.
We had debates with Trent Gilbert, Nina, Oliver, and we kind of just did that to practice against different styles and make sure we got exposed to all these different viewpoints before TOC.
Okay. So you're clearly a heavy drill guy. What do you think your favorite drill was? Do you think it was that one where it's you'd write out a speech, or you would try to give the hardest speech in a debate round that you watched? Or
I mean, those were pretty fun. I mean, none of the drills were too different in the style that they were done. They were all just speeches or parts of speeches. What really just mattered was like the content of that. Like maybe it was a theory drill and we were doing like impact weighing. Maybe it was a evidence comparison drill. Maybe it was a framework comparison drill. And I don't know if I'd really, because they were so similar in style, I don't know if I could say like, oh, there's one that was just like my favorite. But I mean, I definitely enjoyed the rounds ones a lot because it was cool to get exposed to that.
When you did the drills, though, you'd like get a framework, you'd give yourself like a couple, maybe like a minute or so of prep, and then you just straight ref.
Yeah, basically, and answer the framework, or maybe we do that with a theory shell. Maybe like Paris would read like 3 shells, and then it would be like, all right, this is the 2NR, answer this as quickly as you can, stuff like that.
And do you think those drills made the biggest difference?
Oh, for sure. There's a lot of applicable stories that I could go into, but I'm sure we'll get to that later. But yeah, if I attribute to anything, it was 100% the drills. Also, like I said, I was doing about 30% prep as well. Like prep is still very important. I just personally, I'm of the philosophy that drills were more important. But there are opposite viewpoints, and those are very legitimate. Prep does win rounds.
Right.
And so we were doing a good amount of prep. I wrote a new AF for TOC, made sure we mostly focused on our negs, make sure we had case negs to all the common positions, and we were ready to debate them. And we did work a good amount on that, but I would say it was definitely 30%, I would say, in my mind.
Gotcha. So a lot of kids right now are going through the summer trying to improve their skills. What do you recommend, given the amount of time that a lot of kids have over the summer to really improve their skill?
I mean, I'm gonna sound like a broken record here, but I do think it's just drills. Like
Drills?
compiling files is pretty useless, I think. Like it's like a little useful, but I mean, I compiled a little bit of files over the summer, like impact turns, and I maybe used them like once in my career. But the drills will help you in literally every single round that you're in, because they'll get you the skills to be a better debater. So you don't need to go to like camp or have a fancy coach. You can do a lot of these drills on your own. In fact, you can do all of them on your own. It just like can be a little bit more effective with those other aspects. You can just consume content, going over circuit debater, downloading cases, trying to figure out what your 1 and C would be, and do that as practice. You can watch rounds online, analyze them strategically, figure out what you think is an interesting speech, try to emulate it. Maybe before they give the speech, you would give what your version of the speech is, then listen to their speech, and then consider which one do you think was better. If theirs was better, try to give their speech, etc., etc., etc.
Would you recommend that kids still definitely go to camp though?
I think you should definitely go, if you have the ability to go to camp, I think you should.
Okay.
And it can be an easy place where there's kind of a culture that focuses on debate for a long time, so it can make this focus on drills a lot easier. But if it's not within your ability, like you don't have the money or you don't have the time, I don't think that means like you can't be a good debater.
Gotcha. Okay. So I know that you and I have definitely debated a few times, and that I always kind of thought of you as a theory debater. Would you consider yourself in that? Like, would you label yourself that?
So I did debate a good amount of theory, and it was probably my favorite thing to debate because I really liked the technical focus on it. But especially towards my senior year, I really started enjoying the consequentialism, util, structural violence debate. I think it's really not so different from a theory debate, and I enjoyed the same sort of technical focus and evidence comparison and impact comparison, and I thought it was also very, very strategic. So I wouldn't say I was exclusively a theory debater.
When did you kind of realize that theory was kind of your thing though? That it was more.
I mean, it was almost chosen just at random when I started considering doing circuit debate. So my freshman year, I did lay debate my entire year, and then I went to VBI, and that was really my first exposure to circuit debate. And during that, I was just like, I had only known the 2 main things that I was thinking about that were like, oh, these are circuit concepts, or theory, or the critique. And then I just kind of randomly chose to go to a lot of theory lectures, just because I don't know, I just chose it. And then at that point, it was just like, well, here we go. And that was probably my best layer by the end of sophomore year. Now I wasn't particularly good by the end of sophomore year, but theory was where I was the least bad because of that. I think it was already like that when I started off, and then that's when I started reaching out to Paris, who's the person who's doing all these drills, and he's an expert in theory, so it kind of worked out that way that he also was able to make me really good at that layer that I was already the one I was most exposed to.
And going into your junior year, you then went to Premier. Did that like help solidify that like theory basis, or?
I mean, I wouldn't characterize Premier as like a theory camp. I think I had the opportunity. I chilled with Bob on theory a good amount during Premier, but I mean, there's exposure to a lot of other stuff. Like I remember Marshall was really good at Phil that year, and I actually read a good amount of Phil that year.
Okay. Are you planning? So just as a question,
Are you going to be like on the national circuit next year, coaching for like any teams in particular, or for debate drills?
I'm gonna play a little bit of a presence with debate drills. Play a temporary role, maybe analyzing strategies coming in, maybe helping with the topic analysis every now and again. But and I'll be at Glenbrooks and hopefully at Harvard to judge and to coach. But I don't think I'll be super involved. Debate has consumed large portions of my life for the past 3 years at least. So I just want to take like a little bit of time to see the rest of the world,
Right. It was actually interesting that I got this question because it was from a camper. When it comes to like coaching, I guess this is more of a question for the coaches. What is it that you think makes a coach, or what is it that a coach can do to help their debater become like a TUC champion?
So I think every student is different, and the best thing a coach can do is isolate what their students' needs are, where their weaknesses are, or maybe where they can become the best and they have the most room for improvement, and try to help them. And there are many different ways that you can help them, and it depends on how the student is. Take me, for example. I was always someone who was super into just drilling and improving under no circumstance. So I never really had a problem if Paris was like, that speech was terrible, you suck. But like some other kids might take that a little harder, and it won't help them improve. It'll actually demoralize them.
Right.
So I think coaches need to analyze not only the debater's skills and where they need to improve and be specific to that need, but also be specific to their needs as human beings and how they can best want and love to do debate.
Gotcha. So I know that you were talking earlier about kind of VBI, for instance, helped you kind of understand that you were like theory or critique. Are there any like not even just camps, but other places besides debate drills or coaches even that you would recommend for debaters who are trying to improve their skill within a particular like subset? So for example, you would say, I would really recommend if you wanted to get good at Wilderson that you talk to Nick Steele. But like, what do you think are definitely some like solid recommendations that you have an opportunity to make to the national circuit?
I don't think I really ever had a super wide variety of coaches. I obviously was with debate drills, and there was Paris and Amit, and both of those were very helpful for very different things. Paris for very technical, util theory, and I would obviously recommend him under any circumstance for improving on that. And Amit was really good at the critique, and especially on improving my ethos and being less of just like a sucked into the line by line or technical only. But external to that, I mean, I definitely liked Premier Debate when I went there as a student. It was definitely the favorite camp that I went to. But I don't know if there's anything in particular, one thing that it helped me do. I think that debate is far more interconnected than people think it is, and that improving based on skills, which almost anywhere can do, will help you improve in almost every aspect of debate. Thinking about debate strategically isn't just limited to thinking strategically about theory or thinking about strategically about util. It helps you think strategically about fill and add critiques and any other layer you want to do. So I don't know if I have a specific answer to that question.
No, that's I totally got you. I think that's about it. I think the thing I'll end on, because this is something that I was definitely wondering. I was going to ask whether or not you'd rather fight 50 bob-sized parses or, 1 parse-sized bob, but we already went over that last night. On your circuit debater, it used to say, Phoenix Country Day, PW, deep dish boy. What's the inside joke there?
So I don't even know. I don't know why the person who wrote this thinks this is funny, but they think this is just hilarious. And they just kind of edited all my stuff after I posted it, after I graduated, to put like deep dish in it. They edited my circuit debater. They also edited my judge philosophy that was like, I'll give you plus 0.5 speaks if you make a joke about deep dish pizza. And I guess it originates from that I'm going to University of Chicago, and Chicago has deep dish pizza, but I don't even like deep dish pizza. I'm pretty neutral on it. But that arose. I can't reveal their identity because then I'll have to give them extra 0.1 speaks if they figure it out.
Gotcha. All right. Well, Parker, I appreciate your time, and thank you.
Thank you.